This man's screaming in agony right now, pinned hard across my car's hood. He thought he could drag my wife away from our lake cabin like she had no right to be there. The other one still has his hand locked on her arm, totally shocked that a retired Navy SEAL just emerged from the trees behind them. In 5 minutes, both of these guys would wish they'd never set foot on my land. Before I get started, comment where you're watching from. Let's see how far this reaches. To understand what went down, you need to know why they came after her in the first place. This wasn't some accident or a simple mix-up. It all started with a woman named Marcia Denning, the president of the Lakewood Shores HOA. Marcia wasn't just bossy, she was fixated, obsessed with enforcing rules, addicted to her title, determined to claim every inch of waterfront she could get her hands on. Our cabin sat on the prettiest stretch of the lake. Crystal clear water, a personal dock, sunrise views that looked like nature's masterpiece. We'd owned that cabin long before the HOA even formed, back when the lake belonged to just fishermen, ducks, and trees. But Marcia saw dollar signs. She was quietly operating a luxury lakeside rental business under the HOA's name, pocketing the profits and calling it community funds. Our cabin was the only piece she couldn't rent out on her website, and that ate at her every single day. First came the warning letters, then the bogus violation notices, then threats wrapped up as shoreline regulation updates. My wife Elena didn't cave. She's smart, level-headed, and knows the law better than Marcia ever will. Every threat Marcia sent, Elena fired back a copy of our deed with one simple message: this property isn't under HOA control. And every time, Marcia got more furious. Then came the day when everything exploded. A normal Saturday morning. Elena opened the curtains, started the coffee, and went out to sweep the deck. That's when the SUV pulled in. Dark gray, trying to look official. Blue reflective tape slapped on the sides like someone's amateur art project. 2 guys climbed out. Their uniforms were brand new. The badges looked fake. The vests had crooked lettering. Fake HOA cops. Elena squinted. "Can I help you with something?" The bald one didn't respond. He grabbed her wrist hard, twisting her skin. "This property's being seized," he barked. "You're illegally occupying HOA territory." Elena pulled back. "This land isn't HOA property. Let me go right now." But the second guy, slicked back hair and cheap cologne hanging off him, came around behind her, grabbed her upper arm, and whispered, "The president wants this cleared today. Stop arguing." They started dragging her off the deck, and that's when I heard her sharp cry of pain. I came running hard, boots quiet on the pine needles. The bald guy never knew what hit him. One clean elbow strike to his backbone sent him crashing into the hood of the fake patrol SUV. I grabbed his vest collar and drove him down hard again before he could catch his breath. He started screaming. The other fake cop froze, still holding Elena's arm tight. The slicked-back guy looked between me and the bald one trapped against my car. He squeezed Elena's arm tighter, figuring she was his protection. Big mistake. "Elena," I said in a steady voice, "let your legs go slack." She trusted me without hesitation. Her knees buckled, her body dropped, and the slicked-back jerk wasn't prepared. The sudden weight shift pulled him forward, off balance and exposed. I moved fast. My other hand left Baldy's vest, and I rushed the slicked-back one, with the kind of speed you only develop after years in the SEAL teams. He tried hauling Elena with him as he stumbled backward, desperate to use her as a human shield. Another stupid choice. I caught his arm mid-pull, wrenched it hard, and Elena wriggled free as he howled. He spun around, panicked, and swung at me with his free hand. I dodged, drove my elbow straight into his ribs, and heard the bone snap, a clear, sharp crack. He gasped, dropped to one knee, clutching his side with both hands. But I wasn't finished. He tried crawling toward the woods like a wounded animal. Elena stepped back, cradling her bruised arm, but even shaken up, she hissed, "Don't let him go." I didn't. I grabbed his ankle, pulled him back across the gravel, and flipped him onto his back. His eyes went wide as saucers as I straddled him and landed 2 straight punches to his jaw. Textbook strikes, trained strikes. His head snapped back against the dirt, completely knocked out. I stood up, breathing hard, and turned back to Baldy still hanging over my car. He was trying to push himself up. Not for long. I grabbed the front of his vest and yanked him backward, slamming him to the ground hard enough to knock the air out of his lungs. He gasped, rolling away. "Stay down," I growled, stepping on his chest to keep him pinned. He tried swinging up at my leg. Terrible idea. I wrapped a chain, the same one I used down by the shore, around my fist and drove a steel hook straight into the side of his face. He choked out a grunt, his whole body going stiff. He threw his arm up, trying to block the next hit. I caught it, twisted, and felt his shoulder joint pop. He let out a blood-curdling scream. Elena watched from the deck, hand over her mouth, but not from fear, from pure shock. "These 2 tried taking you away," I told her calmly. "They started this fight." Baldy's breathing came in ragged, desperate gasps. I didn't throw another punch. I crouched down, grabbed a handful of his shirt, lifted his head up from the dirt, and got close. "You laid hands on my wife. You answer for that." Behind me, the slicked-back guy was still unconscious, blood leaking from his busted lip onto the gravel. Both fake cops were down, both out of commission, both wishing they'd never made this choice. If you're liking this HOA story, hit that like and subscribe button because things are about to get much more interesting. The bald guy lay under my boot, wheezing and broken. The slicked-back moron was still stretched out in the dirt, twisted up. Elena stood beside me, bruised but upright. That's when I finally grabbed my phone. Not in a panic, not scared, but with the steady hand of someone who's been through worse. I dialed the county sheriff's direct number. Because the folks around here knew exactly who I was, and I didn't make that call unless things were serious. "Sheriff Briggs," a familiar voice answered. "It's Cole," I said. "2 men dressed as HOA cops just attacked my wife. They're down. You'll want to bring an ambulance and cuffs." There was a moment of silence. "I'm on my way." 5 minutes later, sirens wailed through the trees. Sheriff Briggs's truck came first, kicking up dust. 2 more deputy vehicles rolled in behind him, lights spinning across the water. The second Briggs got out and saw the scene, the fake SUV, the unconscious man, the other one cradling his broken arm, jaw locked tight, his expression hardened. "What in the hell happened here?" he demanded. I kept my hands slightly raised, showing I wasn't hiding anything. "They attacked Elena, tried dragging her off our property." Briggs turned to Elena, his tone gentler now. "Ma'am, is that the truth?" She nodded, showing her bruised arm. "They grabbed me and said they were seizing our cabin for the HOA." Briggs's face went cold. "Seizing? This isn't HOA property, not by a long shot." One deputy cuffed Baldy, who screamed when they moved his broken shoulder. Another rolled slicked back onto his spine and checked for a pulse before restraining him too. Briggs knelt down beside Baldy. "You guys understand that pretending to be law enforcement is a serious felony in this state, right?" Baldy's face was drenched in sweat. "She told us to do it." "Who?" Briggs pressed. "Marcia," Baldy groaned. "Marcia Denning. She said we had the authority." Briggs stood slowly, eyes full of rage. "That woman's been a headache for a while now," he said under his breath. Then louder. "Both of you are under arrest for assault, attempted kidnapping, impersonation of a peace officer, trespassing, and conspiracy." They both started crying, actually crying. The ambulance rolled up next. The EMTs loaded them both in, complete with neck braces. Elena watched silently, each breath coming easier than the last. Briggs walked over to me. "You didn't start this," he said. "You ended it. And from what I'm seeing, you did it right." I nodded once. "What about Marcia?" Elena asked. Briggs had this smirk on his face. "Oh, she's next." And she was.
Before the sun went down, deputies had a full warrant and raided her house. They seized her computer, her financial records, her rental logs. Neighbors stood on the street watching as Marcia Dendon, ruler of Lakewood Shores, got placed in the back of a patrol car looking like she'd been kicked in the teeth. The story spread fast. Her illegal rental operation exposed. Her forcing residents off private property exposed. Her fake HOA police unit exposed. At the next HOA meeting, she got voted out unanimously. By the next morning, she was facing 7 felony counts, owing $42,000 in damages, and got a permanent ban from any HOA position ever again. Elena and I sat on our deck that evening, listening to the water lapping softly against the dock, finally at peace. She leaned against me. "You always show up exactly when I need you," she whispered. I kissed the top of her head. Always. Because that